It's less than 80 days to the next presidential election. Hello and thanks for joining the first edition of Journalist Hangout. This week, I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, Buhari holds emergency meeting with service chiefs, warns against politicizing soldiers' deaths as Boko Haram kills more than 100 soldiers in Metele. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Dare Odufaokon, and Mojid Jamiu. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now. Many thanks for joining us. Though today's discussion borders on a serious national issue, but let us begin on a lighter mood. Just a few hours ago, one of our numerous fans was in the studio to pay a visit to Babajide Kolade Otitoju. He is Abubakar Musa from Bida in Niger State. Abubakar, who is a regular caller on Journalist Hangout, presented Babajide Kolade Otitoju with a beautiful present and encouraged him to continue the good work on the program. Meanwhile, Babajide and Journalist Hangout continue to scoop awards from various organizations. At the weekend, the Matured Miners Initiative, MMI, conferred the Outstanding Professional Award on Babajide, while Journalist Hangout won the 2018 Best Rated TV Program of the Year at the Classic African Merit Award. I'm counting it. I have the first one here. The first one is MMI. That's the Outstanding Humanitarian Professional 2018, and the second one is coming in turn. And this is presented by the Classic, presented to Journalist Hangout at the Best Rated TV Program of the Year. Yeah, the Best TV Program of the Year. And I think our guest today actually brought in this earlier. Chocoli. What's Chocoli? And it's written Babajide TVC. Lagos, okay. To take Uno.
I was thinking, is this
You use it to serve.
wrote my name.
Yeah.
It's usually made with wood.
Wood, yes. It's
And,
wood.
and usually not as big as this.
Yes. Okay.
Because nobody's mouth is as wide as this. But this is a design that is good. I appreciate him. And as soon as he presented to me, he went back to the motor park.
Honestly,
As
just
far
for
as-
this,
as far as
to
it's
come and deliver
concerned,
this.
He has fulfilled.
He has fulfilled his passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Many thanks to Abubakar Musa, all the way from Bida in Niger State. And MJ, this is like the 7th award
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
for the year
You
20.
see, before we started this program, I was just telling, I was sharing my thoughts with Jide, how a notable stakeholder in APC. I mean, everywhere I go, it's, oh boy, you guys are doing a good job on Journalist Hangout. I feel very fulfilled. I feel proud that, yes, that we are getting a recognition and people appreciate what we're doing and they keep referring to Babajide, they keep referring to Ayo and all of us, I mean, on Journalist Hangout. Because we're here, we tell Nigerians and all, everywhere they are in the world. People call in from South Africa and they were asking for our shoe sizes and stuff like that. But then they say they want to give back. I say, well, what you can do is when you call in, tell us where we have errors and where we err at times. We come here and tell people
not
that
perfect.
we're
No,
not
but
perfect.
Dari, we do have critics. I see Facebook, I see a lot of people, and the day we are hitting APC hard, they will say, look, these people are pro APC. The day we are hitting PDP, you know, I mean, the PDP, the day, you know, like that, and I find myself that, look, several allegations and everything, but the bottom line is that we are not wavering.
Oh, we're not.
We are not shaking.
And, obviously, the aspect of being criticized, you should expect it. What we are doing here is, in the last couple of years, unusual. And I traveled recently and I met, it was actually a gathering of women. And they told me, you are one of those who give us an idea of what is happening in Nigeria. And where is, I came back to tell the maestro himself. They insisted I must drop his phone number. No, that at times they try to call through the
Women.
women.
Why didn't you drop it?
Well, maybe I should inform you that I dropped it.
This is what Tony is home and
You see,
sincerely,
sincerely, people are happy. The issue is no longer the government is not being told the truth. The issue and the prayer now is, may God allow them to hear.
Yes.
Journalists Hangout is telling them, God give them the ability to hear. And we've changed the ball game, and people are happy. Those criticizing us are also doing it for various reasons. One, there are those doing it to ensure that we don't derail. We must continue to give those one credit. There are those also doing it because they want to derail us. Then we must be wary of such
people too who, for reasons best known to them, hate some of us.
Personally.
If the truth is not what everyone likes. Truth is by nature unpopular. So when you say the truth all the time, you are going to have enemies. Someone called while you were away and said, why is it that they give Jide too much time? He was here.
And I had to answer the person.
You see, and when people talk, some of them too say, oh, why is it Jide doesn't allow his colleagues to talk on the program?
I mean, can you imagine?
There has not been anyone who came here who is a guest who said you are stopping me from talking. By the design of our program, we are allowed to argue with ourselves.
Sure.
So people who do not know the nature of the program, they will say, oh, Jide doesn't allow people to talk. We had an argument for about 4 minutes on a 57 minutes program. And they say, why is it that you don't allow people to talk? Just because 3 minutes argument. Whereas the argument also makes the program even livelier.
Yeah.
We are not supposed to always agree with one another.
And the program is not meant to launder
anybody's image. Oh, maybe that's something.
I always tell people that if they see the people
not
think
for any political party.
the people think that Jide is pro APC or is pro this. I always tell them that if I send you some of the comments that people send to me on social media, you will pity me. And it's on both sides.
At the point in time, they said we're on Saraki's payroll.
Yeah.
After hitting Saraki for consecutively for 3.5 years.
now, if the next day if you now condemn Saraki the next day, you wonder what they are going to say again.
No, they are trying to
They
cover.
say, they cannot discuss the Kano governor's dollar scandal. Oh, you cannot discuss. We brought the discussion. After that, they kept quiet. Another person said, he deliberately he handpicked the people to speak on.
Can you imagine?
So I'm like, what is that topic under the sun that we cannot discuss?
As a matter of fact, I
Put
think
it on the table and let the people
we need to
decide.
remind Nigerians that we actually started this program as E15, Elections 2015.
Yes, before the
and
last
we
election.
predicted about 90% of our predictions
were correct.
were correct. And I think you should whet your appetite. We are coming on
2019.
elections.
It's going to be hot.
If you stay
And we have not really left that track.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Are there.
The government came in, there were expectations, and what we do largely is remind both the government and the people of what those expectations are.
I want to say a big thank you to the organizers of this award, and I want to say a big thank you, but I can't start mentioning their names, for those people that have made Journalist Hangout very thick, all our resource people, Monday to Friday, week in, week out.
Our producers.
And our producers, yes, our producer, Olamide Arikawe and Festus Oluwatoyin. Thank you so much, our producers. And let me just take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. Please stay with us. Well, it's indeed a sad moment in Nigeria regarding the war against insurgency in the country's northeast. We have lived in denial of the threats that the Boko Haram insurgents still pose to our collective existence until they dealt the country's army a devastating blow last week. At the last count, more than 100 soldiers were killed when Boko Haram attacked a military base in Metele, Borno State on November the 18th. This brings to bear a painful reality of the words of the late English political activist Charles Bradlaugh, who said, and I quote, "The abuse dies in a day, but the denier slays the life of the people." The attack has jolted the country into action as President Muhammadu Buhari rallied the service chiefs to an emergency meeting on Sunday. All the service chiefs and the Inspector General of Police and the Director General of the Department of State Security Services attended the meeting with the Commander-in-Chief. The President has, however, warned Nigerians not to make political capital out of this tragedy. Babajide, let me start by asking you what and who is to blame for the upsurge in Boko Haram's killings?
Yeah, there are all kinds of reasons responsible for the upsurge in attacks, especially on the army. For so long, we've tried to let Nigerians and the armed forces generally realize that the enemy had not been defeated. Part of politicizing this conflict is to give the wrong impression that the enemy has been defeated. But the actions of Boko Haram are in complete contradiction of the usual conduct of a defeated fighting group. Boko Haram has not been defeated. Boko Haram still occupies Nigerian territory. Boko Haram still retains the capacity to chase the army out of their military bases. That has happened repeatedly this year. And in my view, one of the reasons for that is the change in leadership. Mama Noor, according to reports, has been murdered by other members of the Abu Musab al-Banawi faction of Boko Haram.
Mama Noor is like a father figure.
He's like a father figure, he's a politician. He's the one most likely to have agreed to some form of negotiation with Nigerian authorities. Abubakar Shekau, you can't negotiate with him because he's a madman. He's a madman.
He's not stable from the way he speaks.
He's unstable. He kills his troops anyhow. Someone went to a town called Fotokol in Cameroon to buy a motorcycle. As soon as he returned, he ordered his execution. That's the way Abu Shekau, the former Turari seller turned terrorist, behaves. And now, ISIS appointed Abu Musab al-Banawi, that's the son of the man who started the group, the movement, appointed him in August 2016 as the leader of Boko Haram, otherwise known as ISIS West Africa. But they had a father figure in Mama Noor. So if they wanted to be overly aggressive, Mama Noor will step in and say no. But we've seen since Mama Noor's reported killing, we've seen a very aggressive side.
Escalation.
A very aggressive side, not just escalate, aggressive in terms of, for the first time, we saw them killing abductees. They were not doing that before. In fact, they looked like the more refined, moderate group
on this program
of Boko Haram. Yeah. But their actions these days show clearly that there is no moderation.
Again.
They are killing abductees, and we fear even for Leah Sharibu at this point. Now, Mama Noor is gone. They are taking the battle to the Nigerian army. First, I want to clarify that the video that has gone viral is not the video of the attack on Metele. It's not the video of the attack on Metele.
So the video that people have been showing around?
Yes. It's the video of the attack on Zari. Zari was attacked on August 30. If you look at that video, you see the vegetation. You see that the grass was already overgrown. At this time in Borno State,
no grass.
You can't have
overgrown grass.
Yes. Because that happened in the thick of the rainy season, not now.
August 30.
That attack happened on August 30. I pray that the video of the attack on Metele will not surface because it will be heartrending. And what is painful to me is the fact that that was the second attack on that community on the army base within a short period of time. And it shows clearly that Boko Haram is determined, because that Metele lies along the corridor through which they bring in their weapons and personnel. They are fighting, they are mercenaries and all that. So they want to keep it as safe as possible. And they will do whatever it takes them. Any Nigerian unit.
Like a route in which they bring in
through which they take supplies and all that. So any Nigerian fighting group located along that corridor,
they want to dislodge.
Zari, Garanda, Metele, they are going to keep fighting. Today, as we speak, they've ensured that every time, look at a place like Gashigar, after they attack Gashigar like 4 times, the army refused to go back. It's the same thing. Zari has been attacked repeatedly. As we speak, it's like we've left the place alone for them. You look at a town like Metele, it has no military value in the real sense. It's just a dusty community, no road. But the purpose that it serves for these people, they are not staying there. It's not as if they are staying there. But they don't want you to stay there because it's their route. That is why they are repeatedly attacking those communities. Many of our big-time politicians, Senator Kiari, for example, is from Gashigar, he can't go home. When politicians tell you, oh, everywhere is safe, many of them can't go home because their communities have been unsafe for years. They can't go home. Some of those communities, like in Abadan, for example, people have fled because Boko Haram is very active in Abadan. In even part of Kukawa, people have fled. Damasak, a sizable proportion of Damasak, people are not living in those communities because the enemy continues to operate freely and attack our troops in those areas. So this is the thing. I see that escalation prompted by the change in leadership, and the leadership is made up of young men now who are naturally aggressive. The boy is still under 30. He should be like 27 or 28 now. So naturally the aggression is there, backed by his brother Habib. You know, they will continue.
His younger brother?
Yeah, Abba. They will continue until such a time when we can deal a decisive blow on them. For me, if I was the president, some of the moves that the president made when they took over, which prompted the Chadians to leave Nigeria, I would not have taken those steps.
Okay. MJ, they are yet, the military authority, they are yet to release the official casualty figure, and a lot of numbers have been bandied around. And the Islamic State for West Africa Province faction of Boko Haram claimed responsibility for this insurgent. But from your own perspective, what is responsible? It's barely, some days to our election. What is responsible for this upsurge?
Yeah, I think I'll take off from where Jide stopped. He mentioned Chad. Chad is a problem to itself. We have a very porous border with Chad. So also is Nigeria Republic and Cameroon. And you see this axis. We have, the president had to dispatch Masoud Danali, the Minister of Defense, to Chad to meet with President Idris Deby and the Defense Minister in Chad over this latest onslaught. We discovered, we got information that these insurgents came in from Chad, and like Jide said, that is their route. But then, we keep saying something on this program that with good intelligence gathering, this is not the first time this thing is happening. And there's a particular style, there's a particular, for about 2 years now, it has been consistent. And how can we allow insurgents, how many are they, to overrun a whole military base? And we have between 70 and 100 or even more soldiers and officers killed in a very brutal manner. I pray I mean, and you know that these guys are so organized, they have so much time, to the extent that the one that happened on August 30, they could even video a war scene. And you could see that, I mean, they had ample time to do all those things. I hope they didn't just do that with this latest one. You could see that they are well organized, they are youthful, but do they have, I mean, the capacity to continue to overrun us like this? When we make political statements like they have been decimated, they have been technically defeated, but I see that each time we make those conjectures, I won't say statements now, each time we make those conjectures, they strike back to prove that, yes, they are still very much in charge. And now they are getting even more deadlier by the day. But with careful planning, with careful logistics, I mean, proper planning and strategic and logistics approach, we can actually ambush them, and they'll find our guys are trying, the military, they are doing their best, but we don't want excuses, we want results. These things must stop. We want a situation where we can also say, yes, we have dealt a fatal blow on these insurgents by attacking them and actually limiting their capacity to surprise us.
Dari, we even had that even when they were even trying to recover the dead bodies of soldiers. They even attacked them, and they sustained the attack on the troops sent to recover corpses of slain soldiers, to show you this kind of audacity.
How in charge they are. That's what shows how in charge they are in that area, because if you came in secretly, to use the word, to attack a military base, and you inflicted so much danger and havoc on them, and then there was an attempt to recover what was left, and another attack happened. It simply showed that that area is under their control. And I would agree with my two senior colleagues who just spoke on this matter. Sincerely, we've had almost 4 years to prosecute this war. And in 4 years, it is obvious that the commands of the military have been making mistakes, resulting in so much fatalities for our soldiers out there on the war front. But sadly, nobody has been punished or has been made to take responsibilities for these mistakes. And I want to believe that this is what is responsible for the continuation of these failures. The current administration under President Muhammadu Buhari has really put in a lot to save Nigeria from the menace that Boko Haram has become. However, the service chiefs, to me personally, seems not to understand the seriousness with which they should take this war. Otherwise, how do we explain what they keep calling a band of ragtag dissidents?
Yeah.
Getting, upper hands at our soldiers. How do you explain an attack on August 30, another so soon, and I'm sure maybe this is just not the immediate one, and
Some are not reported.
unreported. Was this reported in the first place? Now, these people had the time to even do video clips. And you see, I want to believe that Mr. President by now, with the meeting he has called and discussions here and there, should have discovered what he should do. And this he has to do very urgently. When you have an army out there fighting, and the casualties on this part of the army keep rising by the day, you are endangering the entire country. If the soldiers who are meant to confront this enemy get weary, we are all in trouble. And how would they not get weary if this is the result they get? I want to believe that if better equipped, better commanded and directed, these soldiers will give better results. Something is wrong somewhere. We need to quickly discover what is wrong and solve that.
Judy, you weren't around for the better part of last week, and I think you were in Owerri, and we had we chatted on phone, and you were talking about the modus operandi of these people, as in the way they attacked Metele. I want you to paint a picture so that Nigerians will understand the way those guys were able to overwhelm their way into that 157 battalion area?
Now, what continues to baffle me is our clear inability to get the right intelligence. If about 300 Boko Haram men attacked Metele, that should tell you that it took some time for them to plan.
Yeah.
So how come
You didn't hear of that?
we couldn't track their movement from one location to another? That's what the Air Force should be doing. The Air Force ISR, that's what they should be doing. That's what they should be doing. They should be able to, a large movement of fighters and gun trucks and all that, you must track.
You were talking about what they would deploy the shooting.
Now, what Boko Haram does, I've seen people argue on Facebook and other places that, oh, they carry gun trucks, and you said they don't have, that they do not have that, and some soldiers are saying they do not have enough equipment. You can actually have 20 gun trucks at a military base, and you can be overwhelmed. You can have 5 armor tanks at a military base, top-rate armor tanks, and you can be overwhelmed. If the enemy catches you by surprise, you can be overwhelmed. I've seen when Boko Haram attacked Baga, our equipment that we had not even touched were there. It wasn't a case of not having equipment. We had equipment, but we did not even get a chance to use the equipment against the enemy. When they come like a flood, Boko Haram uses strength in numbers a lot. I talked about that here so many times. And I've said that we have not put enough troops in the Northeast. I've said that repeatedly. People will remember that I've said that. Beyond the fact that we have issues with equipment, we don't have enough. Before this video of the soldiers complaining went viral, I have said repeatedly, using the words that we suffer acute equipment inadequacy. It's a problem. But what Boko Haram does is the equipment that by Geneva Convention, you cannot turn against the enemy. They are not bound by any convention. So Boko Haram goes and uses tank busters on human beings.
Tank busters?
Yes. When I watched the attack on Zari, that it's actually pronounced Zari. The attack on Zari, I saw clearly that it was with RPGs, rocket-propelled grenades, that they killed a lot of our soldiers, because from a distance they will fire the grenade at the tent. If there were 10 soldiers in the tent, they all died. A rocket-propelled grenade kills anything within a 40-meter radius. So if it's fired into a room, so many people will die because it already has explosive, it has explosive nature. So they use that a lot. And then you know that those ones are tank busters. The first thing they do is they fire the rocket-propelled grenade at our tanks. Although even some of those tanks do not have tires anyway, so they are even useless. They fire first the rocket-propelled grenade at the tanks.
And disable the tanks.
They become immobilized. They now move and use AA, anti-aircraft guns. Wow. They fire anti-aircraft guns at soldiers. I swear to God, any soldier who has seen the impact of an anti-aircraft gun on a fellow soldier will run away if he sees an anti-aircraft
Can't wait with AK-47
gun being pointed at him. He will run away. Ask any soldier.
Anti-aircraft.
Yes, because it's meant to bring down airplanes, and they are using it on human beings. there is no way the Nigerian army is a conventional fighting force. There is no way that the Nigerian soldiers will be using anti-aircraft guns to kill people. No, they would rather use their rifles, their artillery batteries, and the rest. So it gives them the edge. They are not. They do not.
Unless Amnesty International will.
That is the thing. That is the thing. It gives them that edge. They get into a place. Go and watch that video again. The guy kept shooting that RPG, bang, 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 everywhere that it made an impact. You saw a ball of fire.
You think you are watching?
It destroyed everything. Once once even the armor tank takes a hit from the RPG. It's destroyed. It's a tank buster. That's primarily what it is used for. But they are now using it to kill people. So no matter how you think the place is fortified, beyond the fact that they always come outnumbering us, they won't raid a military base unless they are sure that they have more numbers. So when they raid a military base and you are carrying AK-47 or AK-49, and they too are carrying the same kind of weapons, and they outnumber you by maybe ratio 1 to 3. There's no way they will not overwhelm the soldiers. The soldiers will eventually have to take to their heels. This is what is happening. It's not a question of, in all cases, it's not a question of no weapons. But the kind of weapon that you have, that you can't use against the enemy, they don't care. They can use against the enemy. So, and that gives them an advantage. That is what is happening.
Mojid, can we ever defeat these guys? Because this thing started in 2009. This is 2018. We have a war that we've been waging for 9 years, going to 10 years now.
Yes, I think we must tell ourselves the truth. Terrorism wars are not a battle you win. I mean, take a look at what is happening in even Afghanistan or Iran or Iraq or Syria. They are being decimated, but
they keep coming at you.
They keep coming out. They keep coming back. You know, they started from Al Qaeda, changed their name to ISIS. Before ISIS, I think they changed to something before ISIS. So they keep changing, reinventing that, and you see, where they get their supplies from is what still baffles me, and where they get it from. But on this particular Metele disaster, I mean, we had a situation where some of our soldiers sent an SOS unconventionally to the CNC to save them, that they needed better equipment. But like Jide explained, it's a very, very complex situation. You see Amnesty, now I've not seen Amnesty International issuing any statement now that our soldiers have been massacred. But if it had been the other way around, if our soldiers used some of this deadly equipment on the Boko Haram insurgents, you see Amnesty issuing a statement that we are unleashing firepower, unnecessary firepower on civilians. So we need to really understand some of these things that, I mean, Yoruba will say, I mean, I think this is apt for this kind of situation. You see, these guys, I think we should get our air forces to be involved. And
you are involved, but the problem is that they should be working together.
Together.
This is the first time in all my years of monitoring wars in different lands that I will see the Air Force and the Army operating independently.
Honestly.
They are supposed to move. They are supposed to be a liaison person.
Yes. The moment that thing is happening, how many minutes does it take for the Air Force to give them a backup?
They are doing individual.
It is wrong.
I believe the president should tell the service chiefs that, look,
they should synergize.
For the sake of Nigeria, they must synergize. You have to move together. You have to work as a team. And even in some countries of the world, the army has its own aviation.
Yeah.
They have their own air force. So to say, they call it army aviation. But in our own case, I think apart from the Donia helicopter that the Nigerian Army has, they don't have any.
Want to be a lord of our own territory. This is
individually be bombing.
No.
You must do it together.
I mean, if they are working together and this happens, I'm sure the Air Force will be
So
within.
even by the time they were building
backup,
retreats,
yes.
they would have noticed or
No,
spotted them.
we must admit that this Air Force has saved the army so many times. I always recall what happened in Giwa Barracks. Even this Gashigar, they went there about 2 weeks ago. The Air Force had to quickly come in. They deployed Mi-35, 2 Mi-35. When the Air Force deploys 2 Mi-35 in the same battle, you know that's a tough one. And we overwhelmed the enemy. This is the way they should work together. If they don't work together in this way, we will never achieve victory. Not that you just on your own be individually bombing and all that. You must work together. Even if you bomb a place, you take out the enemy. The army has to go to that place and occupy that place.
Yeah.
If they don't occupy the place, the enemy will be back there.
Come back.
Dari, well, President Buhari has pledged to block loopholes that led to this attack, and he said fighting terrorism has taken a global dimension. Hence, there's need for international collaboration. Do we need help?
We need help. We've been needing help for so long, as far as I'm concerned. And you see, it's sad what the Boko Haram insurgency has become for us as a nation. Long ago on this program, I've been saying, even our neighbors, we've been playing Big Brother for some of these countries since when I can remember.
AIDS and everything, money.
Now we have this on our hand. I'm not seeing them coming to, sympathize. Let's even use the word, sympathize with us enough. We've been, there is the ECOWAS force that was raised. I remember General Adetunji Oluni heading one way years back. If we had had such help locally, perhaps it will have, maybe we've been playing
ECOMOG then.
ECOMOG then, maybe playing big boss that we don't need help. Then the West should know that if we allow Nigeria become a disaster case owing to Boko Haram, the entire West African sub-region will be in trouble. If they wait until we are overwhelmed, they will have more on their hand. Because I was forced after this Metele issue to read up some things about the Biafra war we had. And I realized that it didn't get up to this before we really got some assistance, serious assistance. I wonder what the world is thinking. 9 years of fighting, and they keep calling it local insurgents. 9 years of local insurgents. So many.
They are present in Nigeria, they are present in Cameroon.
So it's no longer a local issue. And then Chad is feeling the impact.
Big problem in Cameroon.
Cameroon. I think the international community, the West, should realize quickly that this is a very serious international menace that requires, if they come in to do something about it, they are not just helping Nigeria, they are helping the world. Because, like MJ said, if our army or our own forces are forced to go unconventional, I believe that soldiers will not fold their hands and keep receiving this kind of. If you are attacking with tank busters, and one day I am misled by whatever spirit to reciprocate, we will have humanitarian disaster on our hand. Before it gets to that, if you keep beating me in a manner I am not allowed by convention to beat you, I may be forced to find another means of getting back at you. And then we'll have a serious issue on our hand. But the president had met with the service chiefs. The international community should please see this as a serious issue. We need help. Obviously, we need help.
At this time in 2014, 2015, we used mercenaries during the Jonathan era.
Yeah.
Should we invite them to help us? I was told that those mercenaries came from South Africa and wherever they came from, but the bottom line is that they were able to push back. Within those 6 weeks that the election was postponed, they were able to roll back, the insurgents in the northeast.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Chadian troops and South African mercenaries did a tremendous job. Most of the communities that we have today that are safe, the big towns, were captured before the election. I always say it here, and it's verifiable for people who choose to lie to their countrymen. Big communities like Monguno, like Goza, like Mafa, like Dikwa, they were all captured before the election. Yeah. And it was, due largely to the efforts of our troops from 7th Division, led by General Lamidi Adeosun, and Chadian troops, and of course, our hero, the hero from the Armored Corps, Lieutenant Colonel Abu Ali. We won. In fact, at a point, Chadian troops, Chadian troops are the most tested in this region.
Yeah,
at a point, Cameroon asked them to come and fight inside Cameroon. Because it gets to a point, if you need help, you must seek help. It's not about ego. When the president came in, he was attacking the former administration.
For using mercenaries.
For using mercenaries
and when he was elected in Dara,
putting foreign troops on ground.
He said it's
what
a pity.
The government did at that time was that the area close to the Chad border was the area. They didn't allow them to get beyond the Kwa. In fact, when they wanted to assist us with Goza, Nigeria said, no, we will conquer Goza by ourselves. And we did. And it's Nigerian troops who conquered Monguno, the garrison town. We did all that. So, but when the president came, he said, how are the mighty falling? I remember him saying that. Yeah. And then
said it in Dara.
The Chadians, we told them that they had to go. Since we told them that they had to go, we've lost a lot of the communities that they captured at that time. The Boko Haram took back some of those communities because if you don't put troops on ground, the enemy will come back.
Okay, I have Sarah on the line. Sarah too from Nasarawa. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm a first-time caller on the Hangout, and
right.
I want to contribute about the topic you're saying now.
Okay, please go
We
ahead.
don't have to leave everything for our military. After all, they're also human beings just like all of us. Don't you think that those citizens, or should I say the people in Maiduguri, don't you think that most of them are also informants of that Boko Haram sect? Must we leave everything for our military? Everything is always military, military, military. Or don't we also pity them? I'm very sure those people are also protecting these people. How would they know that this is where the military are going? Or this is what is happening? Or this is when they are bringing weapons for the military? No, this is when they are bringing food for them. This is when they are bringing money. This is the route they used to pass. If the people of Maiduguri are not also helping them, please, we should also tell the citizens of Nigeria that they have to help. We don't have to leave everything for government and military. Anything that happens to us, we will say government or military, government, military. What is our use? Are they our slaves?
Thank you, Zara. She was trying to talk about intelligence gathering there and people in the community.
The fighting that we are talking about, the attack on our troops, are not happening in the Maiduguri area. They are happening very far from Maiduguri.
I think she's just talking about Maiduguri regional. I think she means Borno.
But a lot of those communities, no people are not living there.
Now, I think we are at the crossroads. This is, like Jide said, this is not a matter of using ego or whatever. Let us go to the Chadians. If it means manning the border between Nigeria and Chad, we have most of this in Jordan. Fine, it's a large area, but then we know this route, we know the route they pass. They understand this battle more. Yes. They are tested. Mm-hmm. This is their forte, so to say. So let us engage them and see how we can collaborate. I mean, it's an international thing. We have American troops going to fight in Iran, in Syria to help out. If they can also come in and assist us here, because now I think we need help for this present hour.
I think that was earlier talking about something that looked like the joint multinational task force.
It doesn't appear to be effective anymore.
But whatever will be effective, they should give us.
There have been disagreements. Funding is a key issue.
Yeah, funding is key.
Troops level is another issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Chad contribution,
yes, Chad complained that Nigeria is not contributing enough troops. But you see, we have problems. We have deployed soldiers everywhere. So where are we going to find enough troops to even put in the notice? I complain, for example, that I don't think we have ever put up to 40,000 troops in the Northeast. And if we don't have enough troops in the Northeast, we are deceiving ourselves. A lot of the communities where we don't put soldiers, Boko Haram will go there and hold on to those communities.
And operate from there.
And even impose taxes on our people. So this is the thing. You must put enough troops on ground. Even if the Air Force helps you to soften an area by killing the insurgents, you must put troops there to retain control of the area. So this is the thing. We have issues with Chad especially, because warfare is a very expensive project. If you remember when Boko Haram went to Baga to kill our people, it was because even the Chadians who were to man the area, they left.
Yeah.
Because they were saying, oh, Nigeria was not contributing enough, they can't continue to sacrifice their troops. Let's tell ourselves the truth. I will show you pictures of Chadian troops who died in Nigeria in 2015. So many. Killed by Boko Haram. So if you need these people to assist you to defeat the enemy, then we must pamper them.
Yes.
We must
as much as
we must sit around the same table
and discuss.
Boko Haram has become an international terrorist group.
Yeah.
We are deceiving ourselves if we think that, oh, they are here, they are just local. These guys have cells in N'Djamena. They are active in some parts of Chad. They are active in Niger. Niger looks like their home.
And then Cameroon.
Northern Cameroon especially, there are communities in Northern Cameroon that Cameroonian soldiers don't go to.
Don't go there.
They are the ones in control of those communities in the Northern Cameroon. So this is an international terrorist group, and it's being funded by ISIS. The more they attack our troops, the more money they send to them.
Yes.
So this is a dangerous.
The more they go out to endanger their life,
now
the more they are.
I think the military, the president, being somebody who has a military background, should know that by now we need to increase the level of our recruitment into the army.
Yes. That's something I've not had in the last 5 years.
We need to increase the level of recruitment in the army. All these saying
we should even start a reservist kind of system, like it is done in Israel and
other countries.
Yes.
Who left the army?
No,
There
those
will
who
be
have left.
active soldiers.
Yes.
There will be active soldiers,
come
but
back.
you are not an active soldier. You are already above 20.
Yes.
They can bring you into the army.
You.
Compulsory military service.
Yes, now.
They do it in many countries of the world.
Like
Look at that footballer now, that son, the one who disgraced Chelsea the other day, that South Korean player.
Yeah, son.
You know, he was supposed to go and do military
service.
Let's even introduce something like that. Because when your soldiers are overwhelmed and you give them military training to everyone who has attained that age, just like we do youth service here, you can bring them in. When Israel was invaded in 1973, that was what Golda Meir did. Golda Meir brought in reservists. And immediately they pushed back because they were already close to capturing Jerusalem. They had to push the Arabs back. So we have to probably do that kind of thing, because I don't think we have enough troops to win this war. And I don't also think that keeping troops for too long in a place achieves any meaningful result.
They get tired.
The morale, let me tell you, if they are giving you $6 million every day,
You want to come home.
if you've lasted more than 1 or 2 years in the war zone,
You get tired.
your morale, you become homesick, your morale will come down.
You are supposed to go and go. Larry, talking in terms of even welfare for these people, because we've had a situation whereby soldiers, we send messages and everything saying that they are not, their welfare, they're not being taken care of well, and even those ones at the forefront of the battle. There was a video that we didn't see the face of the person. Say, our leaders are using us to make money.
Shot in Metele.
Say they are using us to make money. Look at, they are using us to make money.
You see, we have seen a lot of videos. One of them said T72 or something.
No, T72 is even more than.
I saw a video where one soldier, a senior person for that matter, said it was manufactured in 1983 by Slovakia.
It was referring to
mentioned
T10 or so. The tanks are the bordering Shagariera.
He said that's what they are still.
But when you fire two
using,
shots,
it will hang. You have to wait for it to. And that these people coming for them are coming with more sophisticated. You see, when you talk about welfare, sincerely, the current administration have done a lot to improve the welfare of our fighting force. However, with the experience they've had and the fact that they are now endangered, nothing done or given to them is too much. And I think we need to really, really encourage our fighting men. I read a piece recently about our soldiers complaining about the promotion given to the Jos soldiers who found the body of General Alkali. That they've been out there fighting for years, they've not been promoted. And then some people spend 2 weeks or so searching for a dead body amidst unharmed civilians, and the chief of staff is saying they should be promoted. Now, when last were they promoted fighting forces? These are things we should have been doing very regularly to boost the morale of this troop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unconventional promotions,
Yeah.
things that are out of the ordinary, because they are endangered. Money aside, like the maestro said, even if you are giving them 6 million naira per day, these people are faced with debt on a daily basis. We must go out of our way to encourage them.
Let me quickly take Tunde. Tunde is calling us from the United Kingdom, London.
Hello?
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, hi. Good evening to your panelists. I just want to contribute quickly. Please permit me to say a few things.
Quickly, Tunde.
One of the things is that I believe there's a snitch in the Nigerian army, which is one. Secondly, there was an incident where the army faced the Boko Haram people that came. I believe it's your program where they say they brought in firewood. If you look at, I was watching the news, I believe on TVC again, when in Pakistan they had to allow the vehicle to park a distance away, tell them to offload the vehicle. And, when you have younger officers, you tell them, younger soldiers, tell them to upload the vehicle and go.
Thank you, Tunde. I'm running out of time. Thank you. You can always call again. Babajide, to reaching home stretch now. Let's talk about this service chiefs. I don't know. A lot of people have been talking about it's time to change these people, that, so that you get new strategies, so that you get new angle to this thing, that why is Mr. President still keeping his service chiefs?
Buhari has a military background, and in the military, they put so much accent on loyalty. He can vouch for the loyalty of the present crop of service chiefs. He doesn't want to gamble, especially as we are approaching an election. I've said it here. Initially, I used to push for the change of the service chiefs, but because I know this president will not change them until after the election, I've stopped. Because it's like talking to a wall. He will not listen to me. He will not change the service chiefs until probably after the election, if he wishes. And even that can affect morale, because when you see some senior officers, the pride of the servicemen is for their set, for their set to produce the chief of army staff or chief of air staff. But the way it is now, some generations of soldiers
without attaining that position,
without anyone
attaining
of their set attaining that level. That alone it can affect and demoralize even troops. But this is what the president wants. I will not insist that Burate, for example, should go. But Burate must change his strategy. His strategy clearly is not working. The strategy is not working. The army must become an offensive force. No, it shouldn't be a defensive force. When was the last time that you heard that the army moved powerfully to Boko Haram's this thing? They are the ones being attacked because the equipment to launch rapid attacks are really not there. That is the truth. So he has to change his tactics. He has to change his ways. Thankfully, we have the Chief of Army Staff Conference beginning on Wednesday. On Wednesday. In Maiduguri, and the president will be there. It should be an avenue to talk to themselves and tell themselves the truth. And I've heard Burate say to his colleagues during that conference last year that, look, this is a difficult war. That is not usually what they say to politicians. They want to encourage politicians that, look, we have defeated these people. But when he faced his own people, eyeball to eyeball. The Chief of Army Staff said this is a dangerous and difficult war. So I expect them to tell themselves the truth. I expect the conference to come up with the right strategies because if soldiers continue to die in this manner, morale will come down and things will get worse.
Ojit, attend by our politicians to politicize this. I thought we should be on the same page for this. This should not be a PDP thing. This should not be an APC thing. I think Nigeria should be one.
It's unfortunate that PDP issued that statement that the service chief got distracted because they were attending the launch of the Buhari 2019 campaign. Very unfortunate statement from PDP. And I think when lives are involved, I think we should depoliticize these issues.
It's not right at all.
And face the
right.
and they took a swipe at one of our friends when he mentioned that Chelsea was disgraced. I took note of that. We'll discuss that.
Let a bellow good luck. Let him eat that one.
Well, on that note, sincerely, all parties, be it opposition or the ruling party,
come together
to sheath their sword and
let's
see
stand
this as
together
a
as
national
Nigerians.
issue.
Stands together.
It's a national issue. We should confront the enemy in unity.
Yes.
Politics aside. And that's the only way to go.
If it happened in the past, because it happened in
We shouldn't do the same thing again.
2014,
Yeah.
you know, let's not
Repeat
evil with
such
evil.
All right, I want to thank you, Dari, Odu, for welcome. Thank you for coming. MJ in the house, thank you. Thank you. And Babajide, welcome back after the tour last week. And that's all on Journalist Hangouts today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangouts on our other platforms showing on the screen. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangouts at tvcnews.tv. I am Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.